Hello, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Cha Jones, and I'm an intercultural consultant and an expat coach. And I am also an expat living in Malaysia. So if you haven't met me before, and if you are a returned viewer, thank you for coming back. I hope that you continue to enjoy the content. Um, so please like, share, and subscribe if you do like the content so that I can keep it moving and so that I can keep doing content that you actually like. Today, I want to talk about being Black in Malaysia. And I have lived in Asia prior to being in Malaysia. My first experience, actually, this is this is it. This is so funny. I never even thought about this. My first international trip was to South Korea. First international trip. I turned 33, and 3 days later, actually 2 days later, I was on a plane for my first international trip to South Korea. I had never been to Korea. I didn't really know anything about Korea other than the Seoul Olympics. And I ended up living in South Korea. And I remember when I would call home or be on Facebook, people would always ask me, are there Black people in Korea? Baby, yes, there are. There was like I would go outside and I was a Black person. And then it kind of faded because it was like I always see Black people. It's not like something new or interesting. I hang around Black people. Now, the one thing that I am coming to be comfortable with, I guess, here in Malaysia is that I don't really see any Black people. I see people of color. So there are people of color. Malaysians, Indians, Chinese have color. All have pigment. Um, but I'm accustomed to. I moved here from Mexico, and I lived in Mexico for 3 years. I lived in Korea for 3 years. I've traveled to a bunch of different countries. I think it's about 28 countries. And what I've always been drawn to is finding community. That's my thing. I love being in community and I love being able to connect with people that they don't have to look like me, they don't have to be like me, but we have to have some similarities, right? And I think community and being able to belong somewhere is extremely important, at least for me. And so I have always been able to find my community of people who we have some common ground. And living in Korea, there was a huge community of Black people, whether they were African American or a Caribbean or Canadian or South African, what have you. There was a nice sized community. Living in Mexico, there was also a nice sized community. I lived in Merida, um, and when I got there, I had friends that I knew in Korea that were there. I had friends that I was just meeting via other people, because the travel community starts to, like your 6 degrees shrinks, and you like this person or this person is in this place or they're doing this, and so it becomes very communal and people are constantly moving, and so you have friends that are everywhere on different continents and different countries, and it's an amazing journey for me at least. And so that's the one thing that I think my experience here in Malaysia lacks a little is because there isn't a brothers and sisters. Actually, there is. We did it because that very reason, because I wanted to cultivate the community. And So when you say brothers and sisters, that doesn't mean that you have to be Black or Black American or African American or African or whatever. Just, consider yourself an ally in the charge, I think. However, it's difficult when you're used to having a community of people who have vast similarities to you, right? You can connect on ethnicity, you can connect on culture, you can connect on traveling, you can connect on just many different points. And so, um, yeah, I find that I spend a lot of time with my son, who is great. He's amazing, but he's 4. And we don't always have the same thought processes. I would hope not. But he is amazing, and he is on this journey with me. So I am not just living as a single person. I do have a child with me, and so that makes it a little interesting. I do have to go to a lot of parks and hang out with more children than I would care to do on a daily basis. However, he's funny, he keeps me motivated, and all of those things. But going back to my original question, are there Black people? How are Black people received? Um, what issues do you have? So let's start with the first one. Are there Black people? Yes, there are Black people. However, I will say this, that like I just stated in my previous convo, is that there's not a group of Black people that are in solidarity, I guess to say, that are connected and have a community other than, from my understanding, Africans, right? So there are a couple things I want to point out. So when I got here, um, actually, let's start back. When I came here 12 years ago in 2012, and at that time, the only Black people that I saw were Africans from the continent, right? So whatever that country may have been, that's that's what I saw. I saw Nigerians. I saw I think I met a guy from Senegal, Senegalese. Um, I met a guy from Lagos, I believe. This was 12 years ago. Since I've been here, I have seen Africans. I've met a couple at a networking event. I met a young lady who was from Ethiopia. I met a young lady who was from Sierra Leone. And I have met someone from, actually, the lady that works at the pizza place. She is from Uganda. So I've met some different individuals who are from the continent of Africa. And I haven't met one other person other than the friend that I know who came to Malaysia around the same time I came. We came kind of together. Now, the one other young lady who happens to be from Houston, I met her through a networking event. And so when you go from having a large community of people who are from the same country, let's just say the same country, from the United States, and you have the same ethnicity and you have similar identifications, then it just makes it a lot easier. So this is the first country I haven't had that, where there's like a large number of African Americans or Black people from North America. And so it's quite interesting. I'm still making connections. I'm still getting out there. I'm still talking to people, networking. And people have been very kind. I haven't had any issues. discrimination. I've been received well. I love my water guy. Um, Very trusting. I remember when he dropped the water off the very first time with my container. I was like, okay, how do I pay you? He just, shot me his account number and walked off. And I was like, sir, I haven't even sent the money yet. And he's just like, it's okay. It's okay. And I'm like, but I want to send you your money. I want to make sure you got it. Like, I don't, what are we doing here? So I've had those type of experiences where people are very receptive, right? Um, Now I'm gonna be honest because that's just who I am. I do know that there are some race relations issues with Africans. Like if people assume that you're African, or um for instance, just to be honest, there have been incidents where someone was trying to get a place to live and they were told we don't rent to foreigners, right? And that was coming up often. And so it was like, okay, and I will say this. So when I initially started looking for a place, sent out a message to some realtors, and then they sent like this questionnaire. It was like maybe 5 to 8 different questions. And one of them was your name. And then, your nationality, and then your ethnicity, and then some more questions, right? I never I put my nationality, I put American. I never put my ethnicity. I Number one, I'm American, and in America, those questions are illegal. That's just it. They're illegal because of the race issues that we have in America. And so there are a lot of things I can say about America. I am American. I say that proudly. Um, I'm indigenous to America, so I'm good with that. I'm okay. However, America has its issues, right? And one thing I can say is that there are certain things that are just illegal. Not that people don't do them, it's illegal, right? So you can stand on something if it occurs. And so that was kind of weird, but I just didn't respond. And I'm a little rebellious. I just didn't respond. I didn't feel like it was a thing. And nobody ever the fact that I never answered anybody did not stop them from contacting and communicating with me and allowing me to see something. And so I got the opportunity to look. I only saw 2 places. The one place that I liked, there were 2 places at that building, and I was done. And so I didn't have a whole bunch of experiences where somebody was asking me those questions. However, my friend did experience several people telling her they didn't want to rent because she was a foreigner. They didn't say they didn't want to rent because she was black. They said foreigner. We don't know what that means. Being American, you can speculate, but I'm not going to speculate. So I have asked people what that's about. And what I have been told is that 12, 15 years ago, a large number of Africans came to Malaysia, and some of them were Nigerians, and they didn't act accordingly. And so there was a lot of scams, a lot of people staying over and or like just trashing the places. And so people didn't want to rent from them. Now, like a lot of people who lump folks together based off of what they view and not what they know, can, start speculating and saying, hey, I'm not renting to you because you look like that person, or I think that you're African, or I think you're Nigerian. So from conversations I've had, it's not that they consider all Africans bad or that they consider groups of people bad. It's just that they've had experience, or some people have had experience. Not all, because again, I don't have any issues. I am aware that I'm a fair skinned black woman from America. That's clear to me. And so I don't want to have conversations about, oh, but you light skinned. I'm still black. And despite what one thinks, one still goes through the same issues that other blacks through, despite the color of one's skin. So I don't I don't have those conversations. But anyways, so I want to be real about that. But at the same time, that has not been my experience. And I can say that even the friend that experienced that, um, I don't necessarily, she put on her application that she was a Black American. I don't necessarily think that that was the reason, because they still allowed her to come see the place. And then they came back and said that they didn't want to rent to foreigners. And she never met the actual owners. So again, I don't want to speculate. I don't know the ins and outs of said issue. Um, but again, get back to like and I can even say her experience being here, she hasn't, from my understanding, dealt with any issues. Um, and people have treated her well, and she's, you know, able to flow here quite easily without any issues. Um, and so yeah, uh, so black people, I don't think that it's an issue with being black per se. I think that there have been some people who have made it difficult despite, color, race, ethnicity, whatever. And rightfully so, when you've been treated wrong or have experience with people, you start to kind of be on edge. But for the most part, what I will say is that people are genuinely nice and kind, and from the drivers that I've met that engage, the only thing that I hear once they ask, where are you from, it'll be about politics. They're like, oh, I wanted to go to America, but then no, not politics. That's a little rough right now. So you'll get, statements like that. I met a Chinese lady who is visiting here, and she's living in an Airbnb in a building next door to me. We walked together the other day. Just as kind as could be. She asked me where I was from. I told her, and she's like, "Oh, I had a visa to go to the U.S., but I decided not to go because the politics right now." And so I get that often. So I'm gonna say this: you people in America need to get it together. Really, just really need to get it together. Um, yeah, it's rough out here. What else? So as far as the challenges that I would say, um, it wouldn't be around race or wouldn't be around ethnicity. It would be around just community. Um, Again, like I said, the black people that I do see here are the people who are not Asian, um, tend to be from Africa. And the ones I have met have been lovely, but I do see in some of the forums that they have issues finding places to live. Um, they, run into different problems or what have you. So that's the only thing that I can say negatively. We want to talk about it didn't I didn't really experience this in Korea, but I had people who experienced it where like Asians would like touch your hair or, touch you. I so the other day I was at the mall and I went to the grocery store and a whole there was a whole lot of Chinese people that were on a tour. So it had to be like several buses of Chinese. And I'm in the store and then I get this tap and I turn around. I mean, it's like confusion because it's like hundreds of Chinese, like hundreds. And in the store, and I'm talking about in the grocery store, like in the mall, it was a lot. Like they were in groups of buses, loads of Chinese. And so I get this tap and I turn around and my son is next to me. So I was glad that she did this, but I kind of was like, what? But the young lady tapped me on my shoulder and was like, she didn't speak perfect English or anything, but she was like, excuse me, I take picture? And I was like, of who? I didn't know. I was like, oh, because I was taken aback because there's a lot going on. But I was like, what? And so she's like, can I take, hold on? And then she pointed at my son. I was like, oh, no, 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 no. And so she probably hadn't seen many little black kids. She probably hadn't seen a black person. I don't know, but I'm glad she did ask because that's the spot word. To nobody wants to be like how am I say this? Because nobody wants to be thought of like a zoo animal where you're like, hey, I'm gonna, I'm amazed by this or whatever. And I get it. I get it when you go somewhere and you see something different, you wanna like capture it. But no, that's no, no. So yeah, I had that experience. And oftentimes somebody wants to touch his hair, and I'm just like, yeah, no, no. I haven't had that much of that experience here because, again, Malaysia is very diverse, and there are people who are chocolate, chocolate, chocolate with nice wavy, you know, uh, straight hair or curly hair, and they could be lighter than me but have curly hair, or they can be, brown with straight hair, or, all kinds of different textures. And, you know, so I happen to, I use the Pantene Go series. And so, one of my friends was like, well, I need some hair products. Why didn't I bring hair products? I'm like, girl, I have hair products, so I don't know. But here, I gave her some hair products, and then she was like, "Well, I need to get hair products," and I found this place that has, African hair products. So I was like, oh, okay. So it was like, we'll have to go there one day. But then I go on Shopee, which is kind of like Amazon. It's actually like Temu, I guess. I've never ordered from Temu, but when I go on there, it seems like it's Temu. But because my credit card doesn't often work here on like online, I have to go on Shopee to get stuff. Where because Amazon was tripping, they wanted to like charge hella import export taxes and then take forever. And I was like, where are you bringing it from? America? Yeah, bypass China and go to America. Like, we're not doing that. So, um, so I go to Shopee. Now, Shopee does. don't judge me, because again, my art is not being accepted online, and so I go to Shopee and I do COD, cash on delivery, baby. I was ordering everything cash on delivery. I was like, but the problem with cash on delivery is number one, they don't tell you when they're coming. Like they send you a message that morning that is out for delivery. When is that? When 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 is that, sir? Ma'am? When is that? You don't know. So next thing you know is you get a call while you down the street at the store. Come on, I'm here at your apartment. Um, I have your products. And then you gotta rush home and all that kind of stuff. And then they're not gonna wait. So yeah, so cash on delivery, I should do a whole video about the whole cash on delivery experience. Cause I get this one man, he's obviously my delivery person, him and his cigarette. And yeah, a whole nother story. I'll tell that one day. But yeah, so this was video about being black in Malaysia. Um, so yeah, there's quite different experiences. But what I found on Shopee is that you can order Go series, yes, and other products. Cancel, you can order your products on Shopee. So that's if you're black in Malaysia, you can get hair products, and you don't have to go to the store to get them because they're probably not gonna be at the store. So you go to Shopee. That's why I told you it's like Temu. It's quite interesting. Um. So yeah, yeah. So that's part of my being black in Malaysia. You have to be creative about how you go about things, and I do cash on delivery. That's my thing here. Um, so yeah, I've been received well. I love Malaysia. I love the people, the culture, all the things. I haven't had any issues. I did tell you about some of the issues that I have heard about. But as as I have traveled the world, um, 4 or 5 different continents, you experience different things, and it's really a learning experience sometimes. Sometimes, um, it can be challenging, but again, I think overall, the experience that I have had as a traveler, a black traveler, a woman with a child, a single woman, all of these identities that one has, fared very well. You know, People often question, me traveling with a child, a young black male child, and I have no issues. Like he's talking to everybody. He hellos everybody. Everybody needs to give him a hello. And if you don't say hello back, he's like, "Hello, did you not hear me? I said hello." I'm like, "Hey, you might not even speak English. What are we doing?" But even when he was in Mexico, he walked in places. Everybody got a hola. Everybody gets a hola. So that experience I could talk about all day. Um, Being black in a place hasn't had very many challenges. And again, I reference it back to I'm from America. With all the challenges one has in America, one can have a couple experiences with, every now and again and not be like tripping about it because you know, sometimes it comes with the territory. But overall, I've traveled to Europe, I've traveled in the Caribbean, I've traveled to South America. Um, been Mexico, Canada, a couple places in Asia, Hong Kong, China. You know, I got stairs at in China, but nothing. You know, just just stairs. I get the stairs, but here, so so that's pretty much it. I want to encourage anybody who is traveling and wants to see other parts of the country, other parts of the world, to do it. You know, and don't fret. Will you be received? Um, people, people love Americans. Period. And people love Black people. They love the music, the culture. That's the other thing. You will be in a car. I have yet to get in a car and I don't hear R&B. Yet. Yet. It's either the radio's off or it's some R&B. And I was like, it's a lot of R&B. But, and it's funny because I used to live in Nashville and the one of the radio stations was 92.9, I think. Can't remember. But it's 92.9, if that makes if the correlation is correct. But that that's that's just something that you get used to. You get used to seeing and hearing Black music everywhere around the world. We're very well received. People love us. I mean, everybody loves us, even the ones who say they don't love us. So it's okay. It's all right. I've learned to say that even when they're in denial, they still love us, and we're loved, even if they don't treat us like they love us. It's okay. Um, so yeah, if you are planning on coming this way, please look a sister up. And again, I've started Brothers and Sisters of KL. If you're interested in joining, go to Facebook. We'll receive you. And if you're interested in knowing more about KL or you plan to come through KL, just want to connect, please reach out. And again, please like, share, and subscribe. I hope that this content is something that is useful and that helps people get out of their shell. If you are contemplating international travel and you're scared, please reach out. Um, I am an intercultural consultant. That's my background, it's my expertise, and I'm also an expat who has lived the experience. I understand from several different vantage points of what it is to not only be a woman traveling, a woman with a child traveling. I was a single person traveling, uh, you know, all the things. And so that also lends uh, assistance in times where people are trying to make decisions. Um, I work with individuals who are just trying to figure out, like, where should I go? Um, I have software for that. I Yeah, I work with all individuals, whether you are a traditional expat and you have a company that's behind you, or you're a self-initiated expat and you're trying to figure this thing out for yourself. And maybe you never left the country. It's doable. You just need to have a plan. Um, Forget about the naysayers and go for it. And don't worry about whether you're going to be received wherever you land. You know, make it do what it does and live your best life. And guess what? If it's not the best fit for you, go somewhere else. That's the best advice I can give you. But don't stay somewhere struggling, trying to fit in when you don't fit in or you have a desire. And don't allow people to scare you from being able to do the things that you desire to do. So go out there and make it your best life. You only get one life that we know about, and you might as well live it to the fullest. That's, my dear, That's the message for today. But until next time, I hope you like, share, and subscribe and keep this thing going and reach out if you need help. If not, I'll see you next time on the next video. Bye for now.